But first, Sydney and the New South Wales Central Coast are also bracing for flooding now as the huge rains move south. And again, I've got to ask, why are we so hopeless in saving ourselves? Sydney's giant Warragamba Dam is now already 100% full and overspilling, and residents in some southwest Sydney suburbs are getting ready to evacuate. Now, one of the problems is that Australians, some years ago, suddenly got a phobia about building dams. It was like there was some, sin against nature. And of course, this is one of the many ways the Green Movement has made us much poorer than we should be, banning nuclear power, banning fracking in some parts of the country, especially Victoria, banning GM crops for years, restricting forestry, go through the list, now shutting down coal-fired generators. And when the global warming scare came along, the Green Movement got another excuse to say no to dams. They said, well, now, of course, new dams won't fill anyway because the rains are drying out. Now, this didn't just mean that we didn't get the dams that we need to permanently drought-proof our biggest cities, which have all grown so fast. 20 years ago, for instance, the Carr Labor government in New South Wales scrapped the plan to build the giant Welcome Reef Dam on the Shoalhaven. In fact, they turned the reserve into a national park to make sure no other government would dare to put a dam there and flood it. In Victoria, and other Labor governments tried exactly the same trick. They said no to the dam reservation on the Mitchell River, turned that into a park as well. In Queensland, the then Federal Labor Environment Minister, Peter Garrett, scrapped the planned Traveston Dam on the Mary River to save a lungfish and the Mary River cod. Now, that's not the only problem here with this dam phobia. In fact, right now, with all this rain and full or nearly full dams in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, we hardly care that we don't actually have enough backup for the next very severe drought, except for the, hugely expensive desalination plants that we built instead. What we do care about now is that we also don't have dams giving proper flood protection. For instance, Sydney. And, it seems stupid even to ask it, but how does one of the world's great cities in the 21st century, in an advanced economy, how is it that this city still can't stop lots of houses from being flooded? Now, as I said last night, the state government does have a plan to raise the level of the Warragamba Dam by at least 14 metres, which would also allow a huge diversion of floodwater. But here we go again. Same old story with big developments here. Quick, let's find some species, usually one no one's ever heard of, and say it's threatened. Let's look for some old Aboriginal sites. Often it seems ones that no one has visited in years, or at least let's say they're there. And they'll stop the project. So now, of course, you've got the ABC saying about the Warragamba Dam extension. Well, wait, you've got thousands of sites of Aboriginal importance. They're also in the development's path. And the dam could threaten the critically endangered Regent honeyeater. In fact, a draft environmental impact study that's all gone negative about the dam now claims that 21 of these birds might have to shift home, maybe even 200 of them. So, today, let's of course put the home of 21 or 31 birds above the homes of hundreds or even thousands of people in Sydney. And you've also got the Blue Mountain City Council saying no to this dam because just think of the World Heritage listing. Could be endangered. And the rare Wollemi pines there. Look, I love nature. Love it. I'm a born gardener. But this kind of thing strikes me as dumb. And let me tell you why. When I lived in Hong Kong, the administration there decided to build a new airport on an island, Chek Lap Kok, which involved actually flattening a whole island, in fact, 2 islands, like a pancake. Stop, said the green activists. Think of the endangered Roma's tree frog on that island. Obviously, you can't do it. I know. The people in charge, typical Hong Kong solution. They just went from one end of the island to the other, picking up those Roma tree frogs, about 200 of them. They sent some to Australia for a breeding program to Melbourne Zoo, And they bred and rehoused the rest on another island, Lantau. And it worked brilliantly. Lots more frogs. Now, how come we can't apply that can-do mentality to these kinds of projects? You know, in this case, plant more watermark pines somewhere else. Catch that regent honey eater and breed them and build that dam extension. Are we really that helpless? Just sitting there waiting for the next flood?